You know, I'm honestly surprised I have yet to talk about Luigi's Mansion on this channel, as it's one of my favorite games of all time. While I absolutely adore Mansions 2 and 3, the first game in the Luigi's Mansion series is a game I just cannot get enough of. So I feel it's high time I make a video on Luigi's Mansion because it's just criminal that I have yet to do so. Well, that and also because
I just really love bringing up my favorite game whenever I can.
Anyway, after thinking long and hard about what kind of video I want to make, I eventually decided to rank each boss ghost from easiest to hardest. However, there is a bit of a catch with this list. To be completely honest, the vast majority of the boss ghosts in this game pose almost no threat to you whatsoever in terms of dying or getting a game over. While some do attack you, most of them just are minding their own business. Get the f*** out of my room! The real challenge in these fights is getting a decent rank on each catch. So that's how we're going to be determining each ghost placement on the list. How difficult it is to get the best rank on each fight. Now, before we begin, I probably should give a quick explanation on how rank is determined in the game for those of you who haven't played Mansion 1. And for those of you who have, I'll try to make this brief. Depending on how well you do in a fight, you'll receive either a gold, silver, or bronze ranking. Your rank on normal portrait ghost fights are determined on how much HP you drain from a ghost in a single suction. Gold being 90% or more, silver being 50% to 89%, or anything worse is a bronze. Major bosses work a bit differently, as rank is determined on how much HP Luigi has at the end of each fight. Gold being 90 or more HP, silver being 89 to 60 HP, and anything lower being a bronze rank. Alright, see, I told you it wouldn't take too long. And I wonder why I can't get a girlfriend. Alright, starting out this list with the easiest ghost, it's Uncle Grimly. Dear God, is Uncle Grimly just so pathetically easy, it's not even funny. I don't think I've ever failed to get a gold rank on him. He barely even puts up a fight.
Don't do it. I'm a virgin.
I kind of find this ironic considering his fight takes place during the blackout, which is kind of a tough portion of the game. And also, when talking to EGAD in the telephone room, he kind of hypes Grimly up as being a pretty tough boss ghost by saying stuff like, him being older for a ghost makes him only wiser, but he really isn't that bad. Honestly, the toughest part about him is just finding where he's located on a first playthrough, as your only hint is that he likes rooms with mirrors in them, which is a pretty stupid hint considering there's a room called the Mirror Room and yet he's not located there. He's found in the wardrobe room. Now, some of you who have played this game were probably expecting Madame Clairvoyant to be at the bottom of the list, as her fight is intentionally made to be super easy. Mostly for a story standpoint, as Madame Clairvoyant actually helps Luigi throughout the game by reading Mario's dropped iphones, and after fulfilling her duty, she asks Luigi to send her back to her painting. So why is she higher than Grimly? Well, like I just said, she's purposely made to be easy. Grimly, on the other hand, is hyped up to be some sort of super powerful ghost, and ends up being just as pathetic, if not more so, than Clairvoyant. Also, Clairvoyant does have the giant booth in the middle of the room, which I guess can make dodging poison mushrooms a bit difficult. However, I personally never have had an issue with this. Okay, is it really a surprise that Neville is this low on the list? I mean, he's the first boss of the game, of course he's gonna be easy.
You'll rue this day, you'll rue it!
He doesn't put up much of a fight, and his puzzle isn't that tricky to figure out. There's not really much to say about him. He's, well, the first boss of the game. Of course he's gonna be easy. Lydia is really no different from Neville in terms of difficulty, which I guess kinda makes sense considering she's the second boss of the game. And also her and Neville are married after all, so... Speaking of married couples, next is the Twirling Whirlindas at number 19. The challenge for this fight comes in the fact that the floor is rotating constantly, making it a bit difficult to capture them. However, there are some safe spots on the floor, so as long as you can hold them there and keep them off the dance floor, you should be fine. Despite being the final regular portrait ghost in the game, Vincent Van Gogh is a super easy gold rank. His whole gimmick is that he's pretty much just an enemy gauntlet near the end of the game, which can be a little challenging. However, when it comes to actually capturing him, there's not much stopping you from getting the gold. I will say though, I love how he ties into the story of the game being the cause of all the normal enemies throughout the mansion. Pretty cool detail. No, not that Shiver. Shivers, for some reason, has never really given me much trouble, despite his fight having all the ingredients to be challenging. His room is absolutely cluttered with furniture, which can trip you up. However, I've always just been able to keep him confined in this corner of the room. I don't know why, maybe I'm just really good at this game. Melody is kind of the same story as Shivers, as her fight has a lot of furniture in the room. However, just like Shivers, I've never really had much of an issue with it. As long as you can keep her confined to the right side of the room, you shouldn't have too much of an issue. Also, her minigame is awesome, just saying. Being the final optional boss ghost of the game, Jarvis is ironically the easiest of the bunch. First, you have to play his little whack-a-mole minigame, which is really easy to do, and then the fight will begin. He will throw some pots in the room at you, but if you can keep him in the bottom right corner of the room, the nearby table should block the incoming projectiles. And yes, I know the past few entries have had me just say something along the lines of, keep them in the corner of the room, they'll be easy, but I promise you the next few won't be like that. Oh my gosh, the twins have gotta be the worst pun I've ever seen. The one in the plane is named Orville, and the one in the car is named Henry. Now, fighting two ghosts at once may seem difficult, however, here's the thing. Orville is the only one of them that counts towards your rank, so you can do really badly against Henry and it won't really matter. As long as you do well on Orville, you will get the gold. So the best strategy is to take Henry out first so you can deal with Orville alone. Hey look, we finally have our first major boss ghost on the list, Chauncey. He throws rocking horses at you one at a time, then later two at once. Then he'll toss balls your way, which conveniently happens to be his weakness.
And pop him in the face! Child abuse!
Both of these attacks aren't really too difficult to dodge, so as long as you keep moving, you should be fine. However, one thing I have to ask is, why the heck is the friggin' baby the scariest thing in the game? This is terrifying. I honestly do not like Nana that much. Not because she's super tough or anything. I mean, she is pretty average in terms of difficulty, but it's mostly because of how buggy her puzzle can be. You have to shoot 3 yarn balls at her to expose her heart. However, if you miss your shot, she'll teleport away, forcing you to leave the room and come back to try again. The problem is sometimes when picking up the yarn, it will detach instantly off the vacuum, and the game thinks you shot it and missed, causing Nana to leave the room. It's not really too big a deal, it's just a little bit annoying. So what does this have to do with the difficulty on getting a good rank? Nothing really, I just didn't have much to say about her otherwise, because like I said, she's pretty average in terms of difficulty.
Hey yo, what the f-
We've reached the second optional boss on the list, and also the first ghost I feel can be a bit tough to get the gold rank. It's Soupy, and I gotta say, she has probably one of the darkest backstories ever. She's apparently a 5-year-old girl who died in her sleep. Yeah, that's not morbid for a Mario game, is it? During the fight, there will be clown dolls flying around the room that can possibly mess you up. However, there is a trick that I never really see anyone do, which is, after exposing her heart with the water, instead of sucking her up immediately, suck up the dolls first so you won't have to deal with them. Granted, her movement patterns are a bit unpredictable, and she does resist quite a bit, making it quite a difficult gold rank to get. Hey, wait a minute. Out of the past 4 entries we've had, 3 of them have all been children. So that begs the question, Egad, why do you have so many children locked away in your paintings? He may not be the Polterpup from Dark Moon, however, Spooky still is a good boy. Oh crap, he's trying to bite me. Never mind. Something you may notice when fighting the different ghosts throughout the game is that typically bigger ghosts will resist a lot more when trying to capture them, making it a lot difficult to maintain a good grip on them. Now, despite not being too big of a ghost, Spooky still will end up taking you for a walk if you aren't careful. Must be the Pitbull DNA in him. Oh boy, Miss Petunia for some reason has always been a fight I've had trouble with, and I honestly don't know why. The room may be small, but there really isn't much in your way to possibly get stuck on. But for some reason, I almost always end up walking away from this fight with a silver rank most times. One thing I absolutely hate though is when the pearls she drops fall in the tub, since it makes getting them next to impossible to grab before they despawn. Bogmire is probably one of my favorite ghosts in the game. His fight is super fun, his theme is an absolute banger. And his design is actually pretty scary, not gonna lie. During his fight, he'll spawn shadows of himself to attack you and cause lightning to strike periodically. All you need to do is suck up his shadow and hit him with it to start being able to damage him. Now, the main challenge comes with the shadows that still remain on the field, as Bogmire may drag you directly into them. So, a good strategy is to suck up the bigger shadows first, then hit him with a different one so you don't have too many hazards in the arena. And if you're about to be dragged into a shadow, just break off to avoid taking too much damage. Because remember, major bosses aren't based off of how much damage you deal in one attempt, they're judged on how much HP you have at the end of the fight. So as long as you're patient with this one, everything should go swimmingly. Slim Bank Shot is similar to Nana in terms of exposing her heart as you shoot him with 3 balls. Slim is also a fight I for some reason constantly struggle to get a good rank on. Despite being super lanky, he will resist quite a bit. I guess he makes a little more sense to be tough since he is an optional fight. Okay, now we've reached the fights that I really wouldn't blame people too much for getting a bronze rank on, because these ones really suck. However, for me, it's no issue whatsoever. After all,
I am an alpha male gamer.
Biff Atlas not only will resist your vacuum a lot better than most ghosts, but there is a ton of stuff in the middle of the room. Getting him into a secure spot to capture him is not an easy task. And even if you do, he might just zip right next to a punching bag and trip you up. And we've reached the toughest of the optional boss ghosts in the game, which ironically is the first one you encounter. The giant table in the center of the room could be a real nuisance when wrangling Mr. Lugs, and if you didn't suck up the bananas on the ground ahead of time, it's gonna be a lot tougher. I personally feel like Mr. Lugs here resists the most out of any ghost in the game. I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. Yeah, remember when you had to deal with 2 ghosts at once with the twins? Well, try 3 at once. Just like Orville and Henry, only one of them count towards your actual rank, the blue one specifically. The reason they're so high on the list, however, is because due to them being 3 ghosts in the room to deal with at once, it can be pretty tricky to specifically target a certain one. It sounds weird, but however, if you play the game yourself, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, as Luigi will just kinda lock on to one automatically. Also, these guys have cap guns, and they're one of very few fights that might legitimately kill you. In 3rd place, we have the final boss of the game, King Boo. And let me just say, he has a really weird fight. You get sucked into a painting of Bowser. Bowser appears out of nowhere, throws spike balls at you, in which if you learned anything from Chauncey, you gotta
Pop him in the face!
He gets decapitated and King Boo pops out while the disembodied head shoots ice at you.
Hey yo, what the
Like seriously, whoever designed this fight must have been on some serious stuff, cause this is weird as and that's why I love it so much. This fight is awesome. Now, in terms of difficulty of getting the gold, you pretty much have to avoid getting hit at all, since all of his attacks do a ton of damage, most of the time putting you right under 90 HP, and some of these attacks are pretty tough to avoid, such as the one when he aimlessly charges around with his head on backwards. Like I said, this fight's really weird. And especially the ice, since you have to focus on capturing King Boo and dodging attacks at the same time. Boolossus is in most people's opinion the toughest fight in the game. Not just in terms of getting a good rank, but also in terms of just beating him flat out. And I would have to agree, he certainly is a challenging fight, especially for a first-time player. This is mostly due to the main gimmick of the fight, which is after capturing more and more pieces of Boolossus, the boss will actually get smarter and will actively start dodging your ice attacks. Eventually, you have to bait them into attacking you so you can hit them with the ice. as they're unable to dodge when in the middle of an attacking animation. Staying above 90 HP is super challenging since the boos can quickly swoop in for an attack and they deal quite a bit of damage. A lot of people find this fight very annoying, however, it ironically is actually my personal favorite fight in the game. I don't know why, I just really love the concept for this fight. And we have finally reached number 1, who just so happens to be my least favorite fight in the entire game. And yes, I hate this fight because I suck at it. Shut up. Just to give you an idea on how much this fight sucks, like I said earlier, I've played through this game countless times. Now, throughout all my many playthroughs of this game, I've been able to get gold rank on every boss in the game. Except Sir Weston. You want to know how to make a super difficult and annoying fight? Easy! Make the boss able to very easily resist your vacuum. Have him move in very unpredictable zigzag patterns. Add frickin' ice physics to the mix and top it all up with have icicles fall from the ceiling every 2 seconds to screw you up. My lord, do I despise this dude. It honestly pains me to know that he's the one and only thing I have never truly 100%ed in Luigi's Mansion. I've gotten every boo, every gem, every golden mouse and speedy spirit, and the best ending in this game multiple times. However, not every gold rank, and this guy is the reason why. You know, one day, I'm probably just gonna say screw it, and sit down, get to his fight, and keep resetting the game over and over until I get a good run of it. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised I haven't done that yet, to be honest. Like, what the heck is wrong with me? But yeah, Sir Weston is by far the hardest boss in Luigi's Mansion to get the gold rank on, and I hate him for it. Wow, I really got heated there, didn't I? However, that is gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. We are getting really close to 500 subs, so I would really appreciate if you can help me hit that goal. And let me know in the comments below what you think of the list and what you would change about it. With that being said, I'm gonna take my leave now. You guys have a great rest of your day.